Hello everybody and welcome back. It is Shark Week, so we are taking a look at a bunch of different shark movies. We're talking about all the Jaws, all the open waters, all the deep blue seas, and the Meg. I'm going to do one series a day, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then on Friday I'm going to compare them all because, believe it or not, they're not all the same movie. They have some distinct differences. Now, fair warning, I watched these a week ago when I was sick. So I couldn't do much else. I watched all of these in one day, but I couldn't film myself talking about them because I had no voice. So I got notes on all of them. We'll see how well I can remember what I'm talking about. Today we're talking about Jaws and the 3 sequels. So, Jaws number 1. First note, Spielberg hates accurately depicting animals. I had just watched all the Jurassic Park movies, and now I'm watching this, and I'm just like, man, he loves just doing whatever he wants with these things. Dinosaurs aren't accurately portrayed, and sharks aren't accurately portrayed. Next note was small town politics, and I believe what made me write this down was just all the townspeople coming up to the chief and just telling him their complaint, not, putting anything in writing, not leaving any sort of official message, just telling him as he passed them on the street and expecting him to remember their little problems with everything else. I've lived in small towns all my life, and that's exactly how they work. People just expect you to just remember everything that you tell them. They don't want to do anything the right way, actually file a grievance or anything like that. No, just go tell him, and he'll take care of it. It's not your problem. Everyone trash talks, same kind of thing. Oh, I'm sorry. No. Everyone trash talks the mayor. So, in the meta conversation about this movie, which I had only ever seen once. I've seen the first Jaws once, and I had seen the Meg when it came out in theaters. Those are the only ones that I had watched before. But with Jaws, everyone trash talks the mayor, right? And talks about what a horrible mayor he is and how he doesn't care about the safety. And all that stuff is true. But what I don't really hear people talk about that much is the people in the town back him, right? When they have that meeting and all the other business owners in town, they're with the mayor. And everyone is against the chief. There's not any other person who makes, other than Richard Dreyfuss's character, there's not any other person that, makes a compelling case to think of the safety or anything like that that's on the chief's side. So the mayor is horrible, yes, but he's just an extension of the people that he represents. So while I think the hate on him is deserved, it also should go on the rest of the town, too. I have, quote, "Nothing's gonna happen," unquote, by Hooper. I don't remember why I wrote that down. Move on. My next line is, how does free speech apply? So, the mayor is trying to downplay the threat. The chief is trying to make sure that people are safe. He's up in his tower, right? That might be from another movie. I can't remember. But he's at the beach, right? He's trying to keep an eye on things. Would he be able to just go out on the beach and start yelling and be like, "Hey everybody, just so you know, there's a big we're pretty sure there's a big shark in these waters, but the mayor and those people don't want to do anything about it, but I'm just informing you so that you..." Because I know there are some things, right, like the classic example of limits on free speech is that you can't go into a crowded movie theater and yell fire, right? You can't say things designed to induce a panic. But if they're true, right, if there was a fire, you could yell fire. So if you truly believe that there's a danger, I mean, obviously it might get him in trouble with his job, which is probably why he doesn't do it, but at that point, you're just as bad as everyone else, right? If no one else wants to take the threat seriously because of their jobs, and you don't want to risk your job, so you're going along with it, you're kind of the same as everybody else. So if you really want to do what's right, and you want to go out and publicly announce what your concerns are based on the evidence, obviously the people in town are going to try to punish him for that, but if he can take that up to the next level outside of the town, could he actually get in legal trouble for that? I don't know. I don't know how the law works. Then my penultimate note is I thought he was a night feeder. They say earlier in the film that he's a night feeder because his main attacks are all at night. But when they go out searching for him, he's active during the day. So Did we forget about that? This, I don't know. And then my last note is that the main three actors, the chief, Richard Dreyfuss, and the boat captain, I can't remember his name. Those actors all do a great job. And that's what makes this movie. It's not the shark. It's not the story. It's those three actors out on that boat and their interactions with each other. When they're showing it, their scars. The whole story about the USS Indianapolis. I had a thought as I was watching this that, wow, if they really wanted to continue this franchise, they could make a USS Indianapolis movie. And apparently there's already a movie about that. That's not very good. So maybe they don't want to. But that seems like nowadays in the prequel age, that's the obvious place to go. But yeah, I think that's what makes this movie so watchable is those three. Not anything else. And I think that's the biggest reason why the other three aren't as good. But let's get to the other three. So, Jaws 2. Oh, what does this say? Pretty cool of the camera to... Oh! So, in the beginning of the movie, there are these underwater divers that have an underwater camera. And the camera's just taking pictures by itself. Which I know, like, some cameras can do that, but I'm thinking, back at the time this was filmed, specifically an underwater camera, which is going to be expensive enough as it is, doesn't seem likely, but I don't know, maybe underwater cameras took their own pictures. I won't dwell on it too much. To save myself from the shark, I'll set myself on fire. I don't remember what happened that made me write that down, but I imagine it was a stupid decision made by a character. Okay, my next note. Here we go. Why is Brody still the only one not an idiot? So we have the same conflict here, where Brody recognizes that there's a danger, tries to do something about it, and everyone else is pushing back on him, right? And like up until the point where you have a serious shark attack, it's still wrong, but like I get that people can deceive themselves into thinking it will never happen. But at this point, it's happened already. So when it happens again, you can't be like, oh, that's never happened here. And like it makes me wonder how many times has this happened before Brody came into the picture, and it was just always swept. It's almost like an It situation, right? Where it happens every so often and the town just ignores it. Because at this point, you don't get the luxury of plausible deniability. You have to acknowledge that this is a thing that happens in your town. I wrote a quote from the mayor, don't press it this time, but it's like, but he was right to press it last time. He was correct, and you guys were wrong. You can't chastise him for being right? If he had been wrong the first time, and caused issues with how wrong he was, then you could be like, don't do it again this time. Don't press it this time. But he was right. You were wrong. You don't get to say that to him. My last note says no hunting. I assume that's because there was no hunting in this movie. Because in the first movie, they go out and hunt the shark. I don't remember how the shark dies in this one. Is this the one where he like gets him to bite the electrical cable, I think? So yeah, like the fun part about the first one is that they go out to get him, and they're woefully unprepared for that. That doesn't really happen in this one. Moving on to Jaws 3D. Now everyone complains about Jaws the Revenge, right? And going into this, I was expecting that was going to be the worst one. Jaws 3D is the worst one. Let me tell you that right now. And a lot of it is because they tried not very hard at all to make these 3D effects, and it's so bad. It just looks so bad. First note, man, these effects are bad. Next note, shortest one yet, but most boring. And then I wrote Jurassic Park, because I'm very clever, and that's a very funny joke. So in this one, this is the one with Dennis Quaid, right? He's the son, all grown up, and they're doing SeaWorld, and I was trying to figure out what was going on with the whole SeaWorld thing. Because I'm like, SeaWorld's a real place. Did it exist when this movie came out? Because if it did, I feel like they would have not liked this movie, putting the idea of shark attacks into the minds of their customers. But if it didn't exist when this came out, why would they want to use, the name of something from this horrible movie where horrible things happen, unless just nobody saw this movie, and so maybe they didn't think. I don't know. I was very confused about how the fictional SeaWorld in the movie ties in with the actual SeaWorld in real life. But yeah, this idea of bringing a shark in to this facility where people can come and see it, it's Jurassic Park, but it's a shark. Jurassic Shark. Jaws Jurassic Park is what I put. Later in a different movie, I put Jurassic Shark, I believe. Different setting, but same characters. That's my whole note. That's not really that. Okay, moving on. What a hungry? Does that say hungry? I can't even read my own. Oh, what a hugely important moment that looked like absolute crap. So, again, the effects in this movie are bad. I can't even remember what moment this was, but presumably it was a big climactic action moment. Probably someone getting killed or something. Or maybe it was the shark dying at the end. Was there just one or were there multiple in this one? I can't remember, because I watched them all in one day. They run together. Point is, if you're counting on the effects to make a big impact in your movie, make the effects look good. Next note says, third explosion in a row. I guess technically the second one was electrocution, not explosion, but that seems very similar. But I was like expecting that each new movie would have a new creative way to kill the shark, but they're kind of just doing the same thing. And then I put freeze frame on, and then I can't read my last word. Dolphins? Freeze frame on dolphins. So, I don't know why some movies decide to end with a freeze frame. That seems very jarring to me. When the last image of the movie is just frozen, blurry image for no reason. Alright, we're moving on to Jaws the Revenge. Now, I hear people complain about this movie. And the big complaint I hear is the stupid idea that this shark can understand the concept of revenge and come after the Brody family and things like that. And yeah, that's a stupid idea. But a couple things. Number one, we don't actually know that that's what's happening in this movie, right? There's no omniscient narrator that tells us that's what's happening. That's just what Mrs. Brody thinks is happening. And the events in the movie don't really go against that. But I don't know, if you want to do some crazy science explanation, maybe there's something in their DNA that the shark is attracted to. Or maybe they've got a scent about them that the shark is attracted to, right? So maybe there's a more plausible reason that the shark is following them around. We don't actually know that in the universe, the shark is actually just out for revenge against the family. Number two, that's what all of these have been. Is the sharks attacking this one family. That's what it was in number 2, and that's what it was in number 3. And so, you could say that all of that is stupid, right? But when they lampshade it and put the attention on that in number 4, you can't suddenly say, that one is more stupid than the other ones. Because that's the same thing that does in the other ones too, is it keeps coming after that family. There are other victims involved, but it's always that family. So why is it not until the 4th one that we say, oh no, that's a stupid idea? It's a stupid idea in the other ones too. It's just that they identified it in this one. So, again, not that it's a good movie, but the thing that I hear people complain about, I don't think tracks very well. So my first note was, why is Brody's pickup? Because they have Chief Brody's picture up in the police station. And this is before I realized that his son is now working at the police station, but I was just like, everyone in town hated this guy. Why would they honor him as a thorn in their side? But I guess if his son works there, that makes more sense. Okay, so I forget what the kid's name is, but in the third movie, the younger son says he has a lifelong fear of swimming based on the events of the second movie, which makes sense, right? And we see him actively hate to get in the water in the third movie. But in this one, he's just over that, and he's just out swimming, no problem. I don't even think they mention it. And it's just inconsistent with his character that now he's totally fine with swimming. Oh, it came for him. It waited all this time. So, okay, this is what I was saying, is that she's the one that has this idea. It's not like we're told that this is absolutely true. We just hear the idea from a character that the shark is out for revenge. I don't think that means that that's necessarily what was going on. Then I just wrote Michael Caine, and I had forgotten, but I've heard about him being in this movie and how people give him, kind of a hard time for being in this movie, and his response is always like, I haven't seen it, but I've seen the house that it paid for, good on you, Michael Caine. My bigger question was, why does this take place at Christmas? Because all the other Jaws movies take place in the summer when you're going to the beach. So Christmas seems like a weird choice. Michael Caine, though, he keeps telling stories in this movie, and it reminds me so much of his Alfred, because it's in the Batman movies, when he's playing Alfred, he's always talking about old stories, and I don't know if that was like in the Batman movies, if that was an intentional sly reference to his character in this, or if it's just a weird trait about Michael Caine, but I found that very interesting. And then my last note, I assume this was something that a character yelled, is just Jake with several A's. So I assume there was a character named Jake that got attacked and somebody screamed that, but I don't remember. So those are my thoughts on the 4 Jaws movies. How do they compare to the rest of these? You'll have to keep watching for the rest of Shark Week to find out. But those are my thoughts on Jaws. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know if you agree or disagree with my outsider perspective on kind of the complaints about these movies. But that's everything I've got for now. Thank you very much for watching, and have a good day.